Some places in the world seem to hold the truest essence of life. They are nestled in breathtaking natural settings amidst the noise and chaos of urban life. The people here still maintain thousand-year-old traditions, fighting against time with their simplicity. There are no skyscrapers, no busy concrete streets, and sometimes they are located in extremely difficult to access places. Today, let's explore together the most beautiful villages in the world, among which are hidden gems that hide masterpieces and preserve the souls of people. Giethoorn, Netherlands. Also known as the Venice of the North, it is an ancient village located in the province of Overijssel. With a population of only about 2,800 people, this place has no central roads. Instead, it has a complex canal system that is more than 4,663 miles long. The roofs are up to 1 meter thick, made from reeds from the Wae Rebo weeden marshes. Not only is it perfectly waterproof, it is also an intangible cultural heritage, indirectly recognized by UNESCO through the neighboring national park. Since 1960, the village has banned cars in the core area. When coming here, you can only move by boat or bicycle. Giethoorn's history is linked to peat mining since the 13th century, when refugees from the Mediterranean came here and dug pits for fuel. Not only a tourist destination, but also a symbol of harmony between people and nature in the Netherlands. Hallstatt, Austria. Known as one of the most beautiful villages in the world, a true gem and wonderland of Europe. The village lies on the banks of the poetic blue Hallstatter Sea Lake, surrounded by the majestic Alps. With the architecture of ancient, colorful wooden houses stacked layer upon layer close to the cliff, it creates a harmonious scene between architecture and nature. In autumn, the village is immersed in the yellow and red colors of the changing leaves, bringing a romantic and peaceful feeling. Proof is that this place is recognized as a World Heritage Site for its timeless beauty and historical and cultural value. The area is famous for its salt mining, which dates back more than 7,000 years. If you are a lover of majestic natural beauty, ancient architecture, and want to experience a romantic scene like coming out of a fairy tale, Hallstatt is definitely a destination not to be missed. Colmar, France. A small town located in the Alsace region of France, it is one of the most attractive tourist destinations in Europe. Located just a few kilometers from the German border, the perfect blend of French and German culture creates a vivid picture with colorful, half-timbered houses. Founded in the 9th century, it was originally a small fishing village on the Lauch River. Throughout history, the town has witnessed the transfer of power between France and Germany many times, especially after the World Wars. In the 13th to 14th centuries, Colmar flourished thanks to the wine trade and became part of the Decapolis League, an alliance of 10 free cities in the Alsace region. Today, Colmar retains its ancient beauty with many buildings from the Middle Ages perfectly preserved. Wengen, Switzerland. This is one of the most unique features. Almost no cars are allowed in the village. Perched on a mountainside overlooking the majestic Lauterbrunnen Valley with its cliffs and waterfalls, and especially with direct views of the famous mountains. The scenery here is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, along with the Jungfrau Mountain region. The village is surrounded by traditional Swiss chalet-style wooden houses, often decorated with colorful flowers. Dubbed the gateway to the top of Europe, it is a convenient starting point to reach Jungfraujoch, top of Europe. A peaceful, romantic retreat completely immersed in nature and wanting to see the most majestic Swiss mountain landscapes without being disturbed by the smog and urban noise. Bibury, England. Located in Gloucestershire, England, it is a small village in the Cotswolds region, famous for its ancient and peaceful beauty. Praised by 19th century designer and artist William Morris as the most beautiful village in England, Bibury attracts thousands of visitors each year. In Roman history, after invading Britain in 43 AD, they built strategic roads and villas in the area. A Roman villa was discovered in 1880 near Bibury, containing artifacts such as pottery coins and mosaic floors. By the 8th century, the village was mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086 under the name Bibury. Bicycle. This is a paradise for those who love the beauty of the English countryside. Reine, Norway. A stunning and incredibly breathtaking location, often hailed as one of the most beautiful villages, not only in Lofoten, but in all of Norway and the world. Set among towering rocky mountains, deep blue fjords, and traditional red or yellow wooden fishermen's houses that stand out from the water. The image of Reine, especially when seen from above, is one of Norway's most famous tourist icons. An ideal place for those seeking peace romance and wanting to immerse themselves in the wild, majestic beauty of nature. This place is not only a fishing village, but also the administrative center of the area, still preserving the traditional fishing culture. Being located north of the Arctic Circle, you will experience the midnight sun in summer and have the chance to see the northern lights. A place for nature lovers, photography enthusiasts, or those looking for a trip to a paradise in the Arctic. Bremm, Germany. A small but charming village in western Germany is a living testament to that. Nestled along the winding Moselle River at the foot of the legendary Calmont slopes. With an area of only 3.5289 square miles, and a population of about 714 residents, this is a quiet, low-density town. Located right on one of the most beautiful loops of the Moselle River, Moselschleife, where the river bends in an S shape, embracing the village like a gentle embrace. This is not a mass tourist destination like Berlin or Munich, but a place to slow down. Bourtange, Netherlands. Famous for Fort Bourtange, a historic military structure in the shape of a beautiful five-pointed star surrounded by earthen fortifications. The village is not only a relic, but has been perfectly restored to look as it would have looked in the 1740s to 1750s. Although income comes from tourism, it is still a living village with about 50 full-time residents. Built in 1593 by order of William of Orange to control the important road between the city of Groningen and Germany during the 80 Years' War. From the city walls you can enjoy wonderful views of the town moat and surrounding countryside. Visiting Bourtange is a great way to step back in time and learn about Dutch military and fortification history. Manarola, Cinque, Terre, Italy. Located in the Liguria region of northwestern Italy along the Italian Riviera on the Mediterranean Sea. This is the smallest and oldest of the 5 villages with a population of only about 350 people. Manarola is famous for its idyllic beauty, brightly colored houses clinging to the cliffs, and ideal location for watching the sunset. There is no large sandy beach, but the village does have a small harbor and rocky cliffs for swimming. Believed to date back to the 12th century, its name comes from the Latin magna rota, meaning big wheel. The village thrives on agriculture, especially growing grapes and olives on steep terraced fields, a UNESCO heritage site since 1997. Júzcar, Spain. All the houses in the village are painted a bright blue, making it the Smurf village, or Blue Village of Andalusia. Originally, Júzcar was a traditional white village like many others in the region. In 2011, Sony Pictures chose Júzcar to promote the 3D Smurfs film and painted the entire village blue. After the advertising campaign ended, locals voted and decided to keep the blue color because it had helped boost tourism. Júzcar is a wonderful destination, completely different from other traditional villages in Andalusia. If you are looking for a fun, unique place and are a fan of the Smurfs, this is definitely a place worth visiting on your trip to Spain.
This place is not only a fishing village, but also the administrative center of the area, still preserving the traditional fishing culture. Alberobello, Italy. A beautiful small town located in the Puglia region of southern Italy, famous for its unique trulli houses, cone-shaped white stone structures. With a population of about 10,237, the town is located in the Itria Valley, between the provinces of Bari, Brindisi, and Taranto. This place is not only a symbol of Puglia, but also represents human ingenuity in harmonizing with nature, using local materials to build houses. The history of Alberobello is linked to the birth of the trulli. These houses have their origins in prehistoric times. According to legend, trulli were invented as a way to avoid property taxes during feudal times. Trulli are the main highlight of Alberobello, with conical domes made from limestone stacked without cement mortar. Burano, Italy. The most striking feature of Burano is the brightly painted houses, bright as a rainbow, lining the small canals. There are many theories about why people paint their houses colorfully. The most common one is so that fishermen can easily recognize their houses when they return from long sea trips. In contrast to the hustle and bustle of Venice, Burano offers a peaceful, gentle, and slow feeling. To this day, it still retains the charm of a traditional fishing village, with small canals boats moored in front of houses and the daily life of the people. In addition, Burano is famous for its exquisite traditional handmade lace making. A wonderful destination offering the perfect combination of vibrant landscapes, traditional culture, and a relaxed atmosphere. It is well worth your time to visit when traveling to Italy. Dinant, Belgium. With a population of just 13,000, the town is compact enough to be explored in a day, but its charm lasts forever. Its history stretches back to the 10th century, when it was known as an important strategic point on the Meuse River. The town has been at the center of conflicts, particularly during World War I, when it was severely damaged by the Germans in 1914. However, Dinant was rebuilt with resilience, retaining its ancient beauty. The town is surrounded by the lush green hills of the Ardennes, creating a fairy tale-like landscape. The town is also famous for Rocher Bayard, a giant rock a few miles from the center, associated with the legend of the four Aymon brothers riding Bayard. Simiane, La Rotonde, France. The castle dates back to the Middle Ages, but the highlight is La Rotonde, a unique hexagonal watchtower that is the oldest in Provence. It looks massive from the outside, but inside is a magnificent room with a giant dome shaped like a stone. The castle also regularly hosts contemporary art exhibitions and classical music festivals. The village is typical of Provence, located on a hillside and surrounded by dense hills and especially brilliant purple lavender fields. Built of stone with steep winding cobblestone alleys, the ancient houses have architecture hundreds of years old. Gordes, France. An ancient hill village located in the Provence region of southern France. It is one of the most iconic tourist destinations in Europe. Strategically located on a cliff some 340 meters above the valley, it offers mesmerizing views of the Luberon Mountains and lush green fields of lavender and olive groves. It also has a history that stretches back to ancient Roman times. But the village really developed in the 10th century with the construction of a castle as a central defensive structure. Château de Gordes, partially rebuilt in Renaissance style in 1525, is the symbol of the village. Gordes' hilltop location makes it a hanging village with winding cobblestone streets, lush olive groves, and cypress trees. Today, Gordes retains its medieval appearance with white stone houses stacked on top of each other like a natural fortress. Staithes, England. Famous for its narrow winding cobblestone streets and small old-fashioned red-roofed houses nestled close together against steep cliffs. The village was once one of the largest fishing ports on the northeast coast. You can feel this rich maritime heritage through the small harbor traditional fishing boats and strong maritime atmosphere. The site is associated with Captain Cook, the legendary explorer who lived and worked in Staithes as a young man before setting out to sea. Staithes has long been a haven and inspiration for artists, including the famous Staithes Artist Group. A coastal gem perfect for those who love history, art hiking, and the quaint, unspoiled beauty of traditional English fishing villages. Monsanto, Portugal. Dubbed Portugal's most Portuguese village, Monsanto is not only a tourist destination, but also a symbol of the harmony between man and harsh nature. With a population of just 800 people, the village sits precariously on a 758-meter high granite hill near the Spanish border. This is not a village built from scratch. Its history stretches back to the Paleolithic period, with excavations showing that people lived here more than 5,000 years ago. However, Monsanto really shined from the 12th century, when it became part of the historic 12-village system. By the 14th century, Monsanto continued to assert its cultural status when it won the Most Portuguese Village Award at a national competition in 1938. It is more than just a place on a map. It is a reminder that true beauty lies in the resilience of humans in the face of nature. Murren, Switzerland. Perched on a sunny slope high above the famous Lauterbrunnen Valley, it offers incredible panoramic views of the famous trio of peaks. Summer is a paradise for hiking and mountain climbing lovers. There are popular trails like the North Face Trail and easier routes to Winteregg or Gimmelwald. This place is ideal for vacations, relaxation, and slow living away from the noise and hustle of modern life. The village is small in scale, creating an intimate and cozy feeling. As there are no cars, you will have to travel to Murren by cable car from Lauterbrunnen or from Stekelberg. Murren is a true hidden gem of the Swiss Alps. Tasiilaq, Greenland. Nestled on Ammassalik Island in southeastern Greenland, this tiny town with a population of just 1,985 is the most densely populated community on the east coast of Greenland. More than just a remote stop, Tasiilaq is a symbol of majestic isolation, home to sparkling fjords, eternally snow-capped mountains, and pristine Inuit culture. The town is embraced by towering mountains, sparkling glaciers, and lush green tundra grasslands in summer. A small river bisects the town, bringing a rare vibrancy to the wilderness. The climate here is tundra, with long cold winters and heavy snowfall, while the summers are short, lasting only a few months, with an average temperature of 7.2 degrees Celsius. Tasiilaq is a summer tourist paradise, attracting several hundred visitors from Iceland and Europe each year. Telč, Czech Republic. Today recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site since 1992, thanks to its historic center, which has been preserved almost intact since the 16th century. This is the heart and the most important highlight. The square is surrounded by Renaissance and Baroque townhouses with colorful facades, characteristic high roofs, and adjacent arcaded corridors. After a major fire in the 16th century, the town was rebuilt, a harmonious blend of Gothic Italian Renaissance and Baroque styles. Another gem of the town, is a beautiful Renaissance castle complex with rich interiors full of Italian art. Surrounded by an artificial lake system, it creates a more poetic and peaceful beauty. Popeye Village, Malta. Nestled in Anchor Bay in the town of Melieha, north of Malta, this village is not only an old film set, but also a colorful family amusement park. With its jumbled, colorful wooden houses on the turquoise sea, this place feels like stepping into a vivid cartoon. Born in 1980, when director Robert Altman chose Malta as the setting for the Disney musical Popeye. Interestingly, even after more than 40 years, details such as old ropes or handwritten signs still retain their authentic, dilapidated look. Making this place not only an amusement park, but also a living museum of Hollywood history in Europe. Popeye Village isn't a high-tech Disneyland, but rather a charming mix of nostalgia and fun suitable for all ages. Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland. Often referred to as the Valley of 72 Waterfalls, and a popular destination, it resembles a fairy tale village in the heart of the Alps. Nestled in a deep valley sandwiched between giant cliffs and towering mountain peaks. The majestic mountain scenery surrounding the small village creates a perfect picture. As the name suggests, this place is famous for about 72 waterfalls pouring down from the cliffs, the most prominent being Staubach Falls and Trümmelbach Falls. Spring is vibrant with wildflowers. Summer is lush green and ideal for outdoor activities. Autumn is romantic with orange leaves, and winter is covered in white snow. The wild natural environment and fresh air are perfect for those who want to live slowly, relax, and immerse themselves in nature. Shirakawa-go, Japan. Located at the foot of the sacred Mount Hakusan, this village is part of the Shirakawa-Mura area and has been part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1995. The village dates back to the 12th century, when residents migrated to the Shogawa River Valley to escape war and develop agriculture. Initially, the community here focused on rice cultivation, silkworm rearing, and silk production, thanks to the humid climate and heavy snowfall in winter. Villages such as Ojimachi, Ainokura, and Suganuma are good examples of community living. The climate. This is a treasure of Japan, combining history, architecture, and nature perfectly. Hobart, Australia, Ross Village. It is not located in the city of Hobart, but is a beautiful small historic town in the Midlands region of Tasmania. Often described as one of the most beautiful and best preserved 19th century colonial villages in Australia. It feels like you've traveled back to 1800s England with its warm sandstone buildings. Ross has deep connections to Tasmania's convict history. The Ross Female Convict Factory is one of the most archaeologically intact female convict sites in Australia. a heritage gem offering a peaceful historical experience away from the hustle and bustle of Hobart. Ping'an, China. Also known as Binan Village. It is such a masterpiece. Formed in the late Qing dynasty and flourished in the early 20th century warlord period. This is a village of the Zhuang people, one of China's largest ethnic minorities, and also a crossroads with the neighboring Yao culture. For hundreds of years, local people have maintained a lifestyle in harmony with nature, using rainwater from the mountaintops for irrigation and preserving customs such as the rice harvest festival. The village shows resilience not through books, but through ancient wooden stilt houses with mossy tiled roofs. This is not a living museum, but a real community where tourism is just an additional spice to everyday life. Phoenix Ancient Town, China. Famous for its ancient stilt house architecture, lying on the banks of the poetic Dejiang River. The scene is especially beautiful at night, when thousands of lanterns are lit, creating a magical atmosphere. The ancient town is over 1,300 years old and still retains traditional architecture imbued with the culture of the Miao and Thojia ethnic groups. Boating on the Dajiang River, strolling through stone alleys, and crossing famous bridges such as Da Nye Bridge and Hongqiu Bridge are activities not to be missed. Almost every street corner and riverbank can produce beautiful ancient-style photos. As a popular destination, Phoenix Ancient Town is often very crowded, especially during peak season and major Chinese holidays. Ajeke, Yunnan, China. Meaning where bamboo grows abundantly in Ajeke, is not only a tourist destination, but also a symbol of resilience, conservation, and regeneration. Located at an altitude of more than 1,800 meters, even reaching 3,000 meters, the village is often covered in a layer of white fog. It is one of the 5 core villages of the Hani Honghe Rice Terraces World Heritage Site, China's first UNESCO heritage site. These fields are not only agricultural works, but also masterpieces of nature and man. Amasya, Turkey. Famous for its beautiful location in a narrow valley along the banks of the Yeşilırmak River. Traditional Ottoman wooden houses are built close to the riverbank, creating a romantic reflection on the water, especially when lit up in the evening. With a history of over 7,500 years, Amasya was once the capital of the Kingdom of Pontus and the training ground of many Ottoman princes. The city is considered an open-air museum with many historical relics. This is one of the most impressive sights. The mausoleums carved directly into the sheer cliffs of Mount Harshena, just above the city, are a symbol of a glorious past. Cam Ten Coconut Forest, Hoi An, Vietnam. also known as Bay Mau. Coconut forest. It is one of the most prominent ecotourism destinations in Hoi An Quang Nam Province, Vietnam. This is not only a place to relax, but also an opportunity for visitors to experience local culture, from basket boat riding to traditional handicraft activities. With an area of about 7 hectares, this coconut forest has become a symbol of green tourism in central Vietnam, attracting thousands of visitors each year. This is not only a tourist area, but also has profound historical value. Today, it has transformed into an ecological destination, preserving a natural mangrove forest system with more than 100 species of aquatic plants and animals. Ha Ho Folk Village, South Korea. It is one of the best preserved traditional villages in Korea and has been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The village has a history of more than 600 years and is home to the Pungsan Ryu clan. It retains intact the architectural style typical of the Joseon period, with a mix of aristocratic and commoner homes. The ancient town, the name Ha Ho means returning river, because the Ngoc Dong River flows around the village in an S shape, creating a unique and charming landscape. From the Buyongdae cliff opposite, you can enjoy a beautiful panoramic view of the village. Hobbiton, New Zealand. As one of the most successful virtual living destinations in the world, not only because of its fairy tale beauty, but also because of the way it turns a movie set into a sustainable tourism product. Each house is a work of art with brightly painted round doors, old brass handles, and smoke billowing from the chimney. With the giant old tree with its twisted roots below is Bilbo's party stage. In 1998, director Peter Jackson and his team of location scouts discovered Alexander Farm, a 500-hectare sheep farm with rolling hills, clear lakes, and no trace of modernity. This is where imagination becomes reality, where you can sit on Gandalf's wooden chair and hear the wind blowing through the party tree. Hobbiton doesn't sell admission tickets, it sells a dream. And that dream is expensive, but irreplaceable. Chefchaouen, Morocco. The unique blue of the village. This is the soul of Chefchaouen. The entire old town is painted in various shades of blue and turquoise from dark to light, and is completely different from other Moroccan cities. This blue color is said to have been brought by Jewish refugees in the 1930s, symbolizing the sky and the power of God. Famous with its alleys, stairs, and blue doors, Chefchaouen is a mecca for photographers and photo enthusiasts. Tradition different from the hustle and bustle of many big cities, Chefchaouen has a slow, peaceful, and pleasant pace of life. Nestled at the foot of the majestic Rif Mountains, the city has a relaxing feel like a quiet oasis in the land of 1001 nights. Ait Benhaddou, Morocco. Famous for being a khazar built entirely of clay and mud. This is a wonderful example of traditional Berber architecture from southern Morocco. The entire fortified city complex appears with high defensive walls, sturdy watchtowers, and stacked Kasbah buildings. The village has existed for nearly 1,000 years, playing an important role on the trans-Saharan trade route through the Tizi-Natichka Pass. It is also known as the Hollywood of Africa, and is the setting for many blockbuster movies and famous TV series. For movie lovers, coming here is like stepping into the world of films. This is an architectural and historical masterpiece, offering ancient wild beauty and irresistible cinematic charm. Sidi Bou Said, Tunisia. This is not just a village, but a living picture of Mediterranean art history and romance. This place is recognized by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage Site and has inspired countless artists such as Paul Klee, August Mackie, and writer André Gide. According to local legend, blue symbolizes the sky and sea warding off evil spirits. White represents the purity of the soul. The white cobblestone slopes create a river of light effect as the sun sets, reflecting off the Gulf of Tunis. Sit down on a stone step, order a cup of hot tea, and let the Mediterranean breeze blow away all the city noise. Valparai, India. Located at an altitude of about 3,500 feet above sea level in the Anaimalai mountain range of the Western Ghats. This place is famous for its endless tea plantations, lush green hills, and dense forests. Located near the Anaimalai Tiger Reserve, visitors have the opportunity to see wildlife such as elephants, gores, and many rare birds. Prominent viewpoints offer panoramic views of Anamudi Peak and the Tea Valley. This is a great destination in Tamil Nadu for those looking for the peace and greenery of Indian nature. Omo Valley Villages, Ethiopia. Not just a place name on the map, but also a living book about the origins of mankind with more than 80 ethnic minority groups living there. The nature here is wild and harsh with an average temperature of 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. The rainy season from June to September makes the landscape lush green. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 1980 under cultural and historical criteria, this valley is one of the cradles of mankind. More than 50,000 fossils have been excavated here, including 230 early human fossils from the Pliocene and Pleistocene periods. Omo Valley is not for those seeking comfort. It is for curious souls willing to face differences to gain a deeper understanding of themselves. Puerto de Mogon, Gran Canaria, Spain. Often hailed as one of the most beautiful and charming destinations on the island, it has even been dubbed the Little Venice of the Canary Islands. The marina area is beautiful with colorful bougainvillea covering the balconies. It harmoniously combines the charm of a traditional fishing village with the luxury of a modern marina. This is a small, well-sheltered beach that is great for families and safe for swimming with waters that are usually very calm and clear. Located in the southwest of Gran Canaria, it is said to have the best climate on the island, with more sunny days. Pucón, Chile. Located about 484.67 miles south of Santiago, Pucón is not only a small lakeside town, but also the adventure tourism capital of Chile. With a population of about 32,000 people, it attracts millions of international and local tourists every year. The history of Pucón is a tragic one, dating back to the 16th century, when the Spanish founded Villarrica in 1552 on what is now Pucón. However, mud flows from the Villarrica volcano buried the gold mines and forced the Spanish to relocate. The modern town only took shape in 1883 as a military fortress during the Araucanía occupation campaign. It's not called the capital of adventure for nothing. This is where you can challenge yourself from dawn to dusk. Wae Rebo, Indonesia. A unique, isolated traditional village located in the high mountains of Flores Island, Indonesia. Famous for its 7 preserved cone-shaped houses, built entirely of natural materials. The village is located at an altitude of about 1,100 meters above sea level, surrounded by majestic mountains and tropical rainforest. The scenery is beautiful, giving a sense of peace and seclusion. An ideal destination for those who love trekking and want to explore deep traditional culture. Located near, it is a combination of wild nature challenging trekking and unique cultural experiences. Huacachina, Peru. Not only is it a small village with a permanent population of only about 100 people, but it is also a destination that attracts tens of thousands of tourists every year. The natural turquoise lake is surrounded by giant sand dunes up to 500 meters high, interspersed with lush palm trees and ancient Spanish colonial architecture. This is not Saudi Arabia or the legendary Sahara, but the only wonder in South America, a place where the contrast between the harsh desert and life creates magic. The village is not only beautiful, but also carries within it a fascinating legendary story. Its name comes from the Inca language Quechua and means hidden lake. Tasiilaq, Greenland. The town is set in a majestic mountain landscape up to 450 meters high. It is located on the famous Disco Bay, home to many beautiful icebergs. Locals often call Tasiilaq the Forgotten Paradise because of its peaceful beauty and fresh air. It is home to Greenland's oldest surviving wooden house, the Paul Egede House, built in 1734. Transport is mainly by helicopter and boat, connecting to other towns in the Disco Bay area, such as Ilulissat. An ideal destination if you are looking for tranquility, fresh air, and a place to learn about Greenland's history and traditional culture. Gassadalur Faroe Islands. A tiny village perched precariously on a lush green cliff on the west side of Vágar Island in the Faroe Islands. A living symbol of the wild, isolated, and poetic beauty of the North Atlantic. With a population of less than 20 people, this place is not only a tourist destination, but also a journey back to primitive tranquility. The village lies in a basin-shaped valley surrounded by cliffs 400 to 500 meters high. This is not a place to check in. This is a place to hear your own silence amidst the crashing waves and howling wind. You will leave with fewer photos, but more emotions. Laronggar, Tibet, Sichuan, China. This was once one of the world's most influential and largest centers of Tibetan Buddhist study and practice. It is famous for the sight of tens of thousands of small box-shaped houses with red roofs built by monks themselves, covering the valley slopes. a place of deep spiritual significance founded in 1980 by the late Grand Master Jigme Funtseok. Since around 2016, the Chinese government has carried out large-scale demolitions of monastic residences, expelling thousands of monks and nuns. A site of extraordinary architectural and spiritual beauty, but now associated with sensitive issues of religious freedom and cultural control in the Tibet/Sichuan region. Siua Van Fishing Village, Vietnam. This is a masterpiece, a hidden gem floating on the Emerald Sea, where time seems to slow down to make way for the simple life of fishermen. Not just a stop on the Ha Long tourist journey, Cua Van represents the quintessence of Vietnamese maritime culture. Cua Van nestles among majestic karst rocks, like Hang Tri Island, where steep cliffs embrace the village like a protective arm. Its history is closely linked to prehistoric cultures in Ha Long Bay, from Soi Nhu culture to Kai Bao and Ha Long. The village was formed from the merger of two ancient villages, Giang Vong and Truc Vong, becoming one of the oldest fishing communities in the bay. Ortahisar. Turkey. This is a great place to visit, especially if you want to experience Cappadocia in a peaceful way. The main highlight is a majestic natural stone fortress carved from volcanic rock. It was once a strategic fortress during Roman times and is now a great lookout point. Climb to the top for breathtaking panoramic views of the town and Cappadocia's unique rocky valleys. It is described as a more idyllic, charming, and quiet town than Bremm or Untouched. Portugal. As one of the most beautiful ancient villages in Europe, it is often likened to a vivid picture in the middle of the mountains and forests. The entire village is built from dark gray slate, a local stone that retains heat well and is highly resistant to moisture. The roofs are covered with large stacked stone slabs, creating a rugged, primitive appearance that blends beautifully with nature. The highlight is the window frames and main doors, painted in cobalt blue, the color symbolizing this land. The village is like a rough gem in the middle of a wild forest, yet it sparkles magically under the sunlight. Terre, Italy. Listed as one of the most beautiful villages of Italy, and even one of the most beautiful in all of Europe. The brightly colored pastel houses typical of the Ligurian region cling to steep cliffs overlooking the sea. The pale pink San Giorgio Church sits proudly on the rocky headland, creating an extremely impressive and romantic scene. Highlights include narrow, winding alleys that lead to unexpected views and a pretty little harbor. Unlike more famous tourist destinations like Cinque Terre, offers a quiet, relaxing atmosphere. Popeye Village, Malta. As one of the most unique tourist destinations in Malta, not only because of its picturesque beauty, but also because of its fascinating from film set to park story. Built entirely from wood and recycled materials in 1980 as the set for Paramount Pictures and Walt Disney's musical film Popeye. It cost about $7 million, a crazy number at the time for a temporary film studio. Nestled in a limestone cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, if Camino is the green gem, Popeye Village is the wooden gem that perfectly combines man-made and natural elements. Zermatt, Switzerland. One of the most famous and wonderful tourist destinations in Switzerland, located at the foot of the majestic Matterhorn mountain. This distinctive pyramidal peak appears from every angle in the village and creates a breathtaking scene. Famous for its smoke-free village policy, a village that bans personal motor vehicles. This keeps the air here fresh and peaceful, preserving its traditional charm with small trams and horse-drawn carriages. Zermatt retains its ancient rustic features with traditional Alpine-style wooden houses, creating a cozy and romantic atmosphere. Oia Santorini, Greece. Not just a village, but the most vibrant symbol of Santorini. Located at the northwestern tip of the island on a 300-meter-high caldera cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea. The entire village is built along the rim of the ancient volcanic crater, creating a perfect curve when viewed from above. There are more than 300 small churches in the village, the most prominent being Panagia Platsani and the 3 green domes in the main square. Here you don't travel, you live slowly, love deeply, and remember forever. The highlight is the window frames and main doors, painted in cobalt blue, the color symbolizing this land. The village is like a rough gem in the middle of a wild forest, yet it sparkles magically under the sunlight. Tellaro, Italy. Listed as one of the most beautiful villages of Italy, and even one of the most beautiful in all of Europe. The brightly colored pastel houses typical of the Ligurian region cling to steep cliffs overlooking the sea. The pale pink San Giorgio Church, sits proudly on the rocky headland, creating an extremely impressive and romantic scene. Highlights include narrow, winding alleys that lead to unexpected views and a pretty little harbor. Unlike more famous tourist destinations like Cinque Terre, offers a quiet, relaxing atmosphere. Popeye Village, Malta. As one of the most unique tourist destinations in Malta, not only because of its picturesque beauty, but also because of its fascinating from film set to park story. Built entirely from wood and recycled materials in 1980 as the set for Paramount Pictures and Walt Disney's musical film Popeye. It cost about $7 million, a crazy number at the time for a temporary film studio. Nestled in a limestone cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, if Camino is the green gem, Popeye Village is the wooden gem that perfectly combines man-made and natural elements. Zermatt, Switzerland. One of the most famous and wonderful tourist destinations in Switzerland, located at the foot of the majestic Matterhorn mountain. This distinctive pyramidal peak appears from every angle in the village and creates a breathtaking scene. Famous for its smoke-free village policy, a village that bans personal motor vehicles. This keeps the air here fresh and peaceful, preserving its traditional charm with small trams and horse-drawn carriages. Zermatt retains its ancient rustic features with traditional Alpine-style wooden houses, creating a cozy and romantic atmosphere. Oia Santorini, Greece. Not just a village, but the most vibrant symbol of Santorini. Located at the northwestern tip of the island on a 300-meter-high caldera cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea. The entire village is built along the rim of the ancient volcanic crater, creating a perfect curve when viewed from above. There are more than 300 small churches in the village, the most prominent being Panagia Platsani, and the 3 green domes in the main square. Here you don't travel, you live slowly, love deeply, and remember forever.